Good evening, everybody. I'm Andrea Schockling, Assistant Director of On-Campus Programs in the Office of Alumni Relations. I'm also a two-time alum, so I am personally very excited to welcome you all to the first event in our new Young Alumni Story Series, Show and Tell. I want to thank Kristen from ModCloth, you'll meet everybody I mentioned in a moment, for reaching out to us and making tonight's stories possible. And of course, I want to thank Alan and Jay and Evan, who you'll be hearing from. We have one more Young Alumni story this semester on November 18th, and two next semester on February 17th and March 31st. You can find all of the information online at cmu.edu/alumni. If you enjoy yourselves tonight, and you will, please tell your friends and spread the word. So join me now in welcoming your alumni to tell us the story of ModCloth from dorm room to boardroom.
Hi everybody, and thank you for coming. My name is Kristen Gent, and I am with Talent Acquisition at ModCloth. And tonight we're really excited to be part of Show and Tell because we love to tell stories and we love to be interactive with our customers. And so tonight you're all going to be our customers as we tell our story. For those of you who are not familiar with ModCloth, we're an online clothing boutique and we specialize in vintage-inspired indie fashion. And we were started at CMU by two students at the time, right here on campus. They started ModCloth out of their dorm room. So it's an amazing, successful story that we're really proud to be part of and really proud to be tied to CMU. To get a better feel for the style of ModCloth, we're going to start out with a little video from one of our founders, Susan, and two of our buyers as they're talking about some of our vintage pieces that they had picked for the site.
We just got done sourcing for our next one-of-a-kind vintage collection. The theme is boho hippie chic, and we found some really amazing items, so we wanted to share it with you. I'm here with Lindsay and Sari, two of the fabulous ModCloth buyers, and let's dive into it. So this is one of my favorite items from the collection. I think it's pretty amazing. This like hot pink floral chiffon dress from the 60s. I would totally wear this. I kind of want to keep it.
So to better explain the ModCloth story, I brought along three alum who all happen to be part of our tech team here in Pittsburgh. Alan Liu, who is our VP of Information Systems. Jay Palat, who is a senior software architect, or as he's known around the office, our senior geek. And Evan Tahler, who is acting PM of Business Intelligence. We also have a former analytics intern with us who is currently at CMU, Jillian Salway. So we're going to start with Evan. We're going to start with Alan. We're going to start with Alan.
So I didn't have much to share about because I feel like I went to CMU a really long time ago, but graduated in 2001 in information systems, was on the special 4.5-year track and got my bachelor's, so definitely encourage that. I'm just kidding. But after graduating in information systems, I graduated right at the time of the wonderful .com bust, and did medical devices for a couple years at MedRad, Respironics, and then jumped over to retail. So I spent some time at American Eagle, launched Martin & Osa and 77 Kids, which was a really fun project. Spent a little time at General Nutrition Center. All these companies are based in Pittsburgh, and then got recruited to ModCloth. So, Jay?
Hi, I'm Jay Palat. I actually didn't do an undergrad at CMU. I did a Master's of Information Technology. It was a part-time program. So I actually was working in the area. I started with a company called H2 Design Group. I moved over to IBM downtown when it was part of TransArc, and then continued as part of IBM. Did my master's there while working full-time, and then after a couple of years of doing a couple of interesting projects, I've moved on to ModCloth.
And I'm Evan Tahler. I'm actually a double CMU. I did my undergrad in mechanical engineering and my master's in entertainment technology. While I was here, I was the president of CMU TV. I did Red Team Racing. That's when we had a car drive through the desert and race itself. So after I graduated, I went to Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment, did a lot of work in Blu-ray, and got to play with the Lost Guys. Had a startup in town for a while called Evil Genius Designs, and then went on to ModCloth. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell you the ModCloth story in 3 different ways. The first way we're going to tell you the story is the story of a Pittsburgh and CMU startup, kind of give you a little bit of the history. And then we're going to go into some other ways of telling the story, and we think if you see all 3 of them, you'll get a good handle on the way ModCloth works. So for this first story, I want to introduce you to Eric and Susan. This is them now. Eric and Susan, again, both business students here at CMU. But when they first met, they looked a little more like this. And this is how they looked their senior year of high school and their first year at CMU. And then the first instance of ModCloth was started in a dorm here at CMU. And this is the desk and the logo. Notice the word recycled. It's a word we don't use much anymore to describe the fashion. So here's the first website. We've always been an online company, and we've always existed under the guidance of Susan's keen fashion sense. So she always just loved clothing shopping, finding good buys, finding vintage things, and she wanted a way to sell them online. So with a bunch of help from other folks at CMU, she made this first website. And this is how it existed for about a year. In 2005, this is Winston. He is our corporate mascot and he has many other official duties, but he came on the picture then. And he's been happy to be with us ever since. In 2006, Eric and Susan got married, and you'll notice that we now have what looks like a warehouse, but that's actually the basement of a house in Friendship, right? So this was the first mod office, mod mansion we call it. It's important to note that that basement is not tall enough to stand up in, and that's pretty much the inventory we had at the time, of course centered around shoes and dresses. In 2008, we moved the warehouse to Ambridge Street and the office to Smallman Street. So the office is still where it is in Smallman Street in an old warehouse next to Lawrenceville. And we started getting enough inventory to need a whole team of packers and shippers, and you'll see it's one of our employees, Lacey, sitting on a box of product there. We actually had enough to need boxes now, which is exciting. In 2009, we moved the warehouse to Carson Street. You'll see that box around a whole big warehouse at the point there. We occupy, I think, a third of that now, and we have over 100,000 feet of just cool product that you can buy online, and it's awesome. We're just getting bigger and bigger. In 2010, we branched out and added 2 new offices to our company. So now we have an office in LA and an office in San Francisco. Of course, we're keeping the Pittsburgh offices, both the warehouse and the one on Smallman Street. But we needed to find more people, more talent. So we needed to go to other places to find these folks. And also we wanted to be closer to where fashion was happening. So, of course, Pittsburgh's an awesome town, but it's not the most fashionable place. So we chose to go to LA for that. I've been here long enough, I can say that without getting punched, I think. And that's where we are today. So now we're over 200 people big, and we just came off one of the largest VC rounds, that's venture capital rounds in Pittsburgh's history. So you'll see they're $19.8 million. And we got that to help us build our 2 other offices, and we're still growing today. Cool facts about us now are we're the 2nd fastest growing company in America, according to Inc. magazine, and the #1 growth in retail. And we're all over the place. We're all over the internet, most importantly, Perez Hilton. If you search on Google for indie and clothing and mod and clothing, we always pop up. That's us. We're very, very well known, and we're growing constantly and still on the upswing. So with all this growth, I wanted to leave this section with a little bit of an interview of our employees so you can understand what people think it's like to work for ModCloth.
So it is a fun place to work. So the next part of our story, is going to be the technology story of ModCloth. But aren't we just a retail company? ModCloth is retail. As Evan mentioned, we've been just doing online sales since our inception. But we're trying to go past that. We're trying to do more. We're making online retail more social, pushing the boundaries of what we can do with e-commerce and supply chain. So trying to take the ModCloth brand further doing more than just making sales, but also making customers and building community. As Evan mentioned, we've been doing a lot of growth. This slide is actually out of date. We've doubled the amount of space that we have, moving from 2003 to the present. Building out not just the offices, but also our warehouse space and offices in the new cities as well. One of the key things about ModCloth is connecting to customers. ModCloth is really a social experience. A lot of it's been word of mouth, people talking to each other, showing their friends what they're getting. It's not like huge advertising campaigns. It's a lot more about people telling their friends about what they found and what they like. And a lot of what we're trying to do is encourage people to talk about ModCloth. We do things with Twitter. We run contests there. We have our blog where we've created a following all around the mod lifestyle, talking about things that interest the culture, the fashion. We get involved with Facebook, a lot of Facebook communities based around what we do, and we're also branching out to other ones like Polyvore, Chicktopia, site of our blog, Twitter. Today is I Spy Thursday, so I think we missed the contest already, but every Thursday we do a contest of looking for things on the site and then doing prizes off of that. Our Facebook community. Polyvore, we do collaboration with our customers, helping them design outfits using mod materials. From a technology standpoint, under the hood, we use a lot of open source software. We are a big Ruby on Rails shop. We try and use a lot of different technology, virtualization, cloud computing, or major platforms that we're involved with. We're also getting into business analytics, trying to make sense of the numbers of how our sales work, how we move through inventory. Trying to also push the boundaries of configuration management using Chef to make our lives easier, do more with less. Oops. Where ModCloth fits into the retail space, we tend to be down at the bottom here. So while a lot of companies, traditional retail, they work from a few sourcers, a few suppliers that all live up here in this little triangle. With ModCloth, we try and go further. We want to go smaller into small business owners, mom and pop indie designers, DIY designers, smaller shops who are bringing their stuff forward for the first time. It's all behind the idea of democratizing fashion. Alan will talk about this a little bit more, but with our programs like Be the Buyer, ModCloth is doing is helping these smaller groups, designers, companies, get in touch with a larger customer base than they can traditionally reach out to. A lot of these shops are one or two people who are trying out designs, sharing them with the world. They don't have the kind of exposure that you get going into, say, one of the major retailers. So this is giving them a chance to get a voice out there, let them understand what their customers are looking for, and get a feel for it before they have to invest heavily and make their investments on what they're going to actually produce. Who do we need to make this work? So there is a large variety of help that we need to make this sort of thing happen. We have people coming in, designers, computer scientists, information scientists, industrial engineers, user experience, business analysts, math, statistics. It takes a lot of different people, a lot of different backgrounds to make ModCloth work. And as we've seen, we are going through some explosive growth, so we are trying to find all the people we can to help us take on new challenges. So speaking of challenges, what kind of challenges do we face? Scaling a conversation. Doing word of mouth is a core of what we do, but as we grow bigger and the brand goes bigger, how do you make that conversation still work? How do you keep connecting with your customers in an organic way, not something that's forced or tired? How do you manage the risk of working with the smallest vendors in the market? I mean, a lot of these companies, like I said, are very small. That's a lot of risk because a lot of them haven't done this before. This is their first time through. Some of these designers won't even make it to the next season. How do you work with that? In a typical retail environment, we launch every 6 weeks. So like, they'll see an entire season of stuff. 6 weeks, they got plenty of time to kind of build campaigns, take a launch from inception, purchasing it all the way through to showing up on stores. We have 25 launches every day, so we just move at a much faster pace than most retailers.
So I wanted to kind of describe, give you guys some stories on like why ModCloth is unique. The other day I was talking to customer service, and we have issues where sometimes we get bad reviews, right? And if you're Amazon or eBay, what's a bad review? I mean, it just helps you filter out the stuff you don't want to sell anymore, because you've got tons and tons of product that you have plenty of choices. But ModCloth is a little bit different because we've already bought the stuff, right? And I was talking to Eric Koga, our CEO, and asking him, when we get a bad review, like, how should we process that? What do we do with the bad review? And the comment was, and to give you a little bit of insight of how we view our customer, and I'll kind of lead with this. Like, we don't view our customer as somebody who we when we sell it and you buy it, and we want you to buy as much as possible, right? That's kind of the traditional retail model. And that fundamentally doesn't jive with us. And that's part of why we view all of our customers as you're partnering with us. You're partnering with us through the whole process of running a company. And so in this case of, what do we do with bad reviews? He's like, well, if I had to come up with the right model, if you get a bad review, what do you do? Well, what we should do is we should see if that's true. So we should have a customer care person go down to the distribution center, try on the product, and see if it's true. Look at the stitching, look at the quality, check the fit, and see if what they said is actually true. Because if it's true and the product is no good, then we shouldn't sell it. I was like, that's not that kind of makes sense, right? We don't want to sell bad products. We fundamentally don't want to put our customers in a place that we're enticing you to buy a product that you don't want. I think another great example is in our photo studio. And our photo person is somebody who came from American Eagle. And at American Eagle, and so I worked at American Eagle, so I kind of know the way that we operate. We make the product look really good, right? I mean, you tweak the color, you prop up all the items so that you get the best photography possible. You get the best angles, the best lighting, and everything is perfect. And it looks really good. But the challenge is, somebody opens up the box and they're like, that's not the color I bought. That's something completely different. And so there was a situation where there was a dress. And Eric and Susan were like, this dress doesn't look right. And of course, the photo guy is like, what do you mean? I think it looks great. And Susan's comment was, the bow looks perfect. And I know that when you open the box, the bow is not going to look like that. So he's like, well, yeah, I put a little wire in there to stand up the bow and, pinned it back in the right places so it stood perfectly. And she's like, but it's not going to show up like that, so don't make it look like that. And so we've actually told our photo team, make the product look the way the product actually is. Mind-blowing, right? I mean, who does this? Is this is this how you run a company? But to us, this is what makes us unique. This is what makes us a partner with our customers, not trying to, entice you, give us all your money, right? That's not the way that we roll. So, talking more about kind of community, trends don't last forever, and the traditional model is we'll design it. We'll go check, what's the latest fashion in Paris, what's the latest fashion in New York. We'll design it and then we'll produce it and you buy it, and that's how most apparel companies work. But for us, the communities are what drive our company. The community is what decides what's the next trends. So with our company and the way that we have our Be the Buyer program, where the community actually acts like buyers for us, those are all ways that we include the community so that we're not the one telling you what to wear, but our community is the one that's driving all stages of the life cycle. These are just all the different outlets that we use, and I want to highlight some of them, like crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing is where you guys as customers and the rest of our customer base gets to be part of how we source our products. Social gaming is another big component. I mean, gaming, we want to be involved with everything that we do because I don't know if you remember in the video, one of her comments was, wait, what did she say? I'm totally blanking out. Well, she was talking about, they told me to have a colorful resume and, be really fun and energetic. I mean, that's who we are as ModCloth. I mean, we really love engaging with people. We really love being down to earth. And then likewise, gaming is fun. So we want gaming to be part of our website experience. We want it to be part of how you interact with ModCloth. And then, community, social, obviously in the social realm that, we take a different approach where, the traditional social, what is social all about? Like revenue, like how do we tap these markets, to increase revenue? But for us, social is a way that we interact with our customers. Our blog is nothing more than a blog. Like, we're not trying to sell anything on our blog. Our blog is just interacting with our customer, talking about a lifestyle, and engaging with them in our lifestyle. And for example, Fashion Week, in New York, the big Fashion Week, woohoo! We get invited to Fashion Week not because we sell clothes, but because of our blog. Our presence in the environment, like our presence, like in the social area, is so exciting based on just what we write, not because we're the latest and greatest in fashion.
We talk about music, movies, food. We talk about everything that's related to the brand, not just the products themselves. So it's always really interesting to go and visit and check out what's there. Like, we had a whole week where we were talking about music, and then we gave away free songs, right? So like, it's not even related to fashion necessarily.
Yeah. One of the interesting statistics is like our conversion. If you think of a traditional retail conversion, it can be anywhere from like 15 to like 2 or 3%. Our conversion is really low. And we're totally okay with that. We want people to come to our website. We want them to engage with our brand. And if you don't want to buy today, that's totally fine with us. I mean, conversion is not a number that drives, our organization. This slide is, the blue bars represent kind of this life cycle of product. So designing, the design process, creating the sample, buying the materials, producing it, and then reproducing it. Green is where we feel like we, as the retailer, we can help the customers be more involved with our brand, where you guys can be involved with designing, even our products. Or, once we create samples, that's where we get feedback. Hey, are these samples the right samples? Are these the things you want to buy? Once we have everything ready, taking pre-orders, it's a functionality we just recently launched where people can actually start getting early access to products. But what that means, it allows us to make smarter decisions so that we're buying the stuff that you guys actually want, and the other stuff we just get off our site. This shows kind of some of our crowdsourcing. On the right, you see the Be The, and then all these different things. We really want to engage more and more deeper with our community. So Be the Buyer exists today, Be the Writer exists, but we want Be the Designer, Be the Stylist, Be the Model. We want all of those things to be how we engage our communities. And then on the left is more of just the opportunity, right? We're focused on one style, one brand right now, but what everyone has seen is like not just our brand is unique, but kind of our approach to retail is unique, and these are all the different directions that we can grow. So next, it's time for games. Yay, and prizes. So we wanted to run a game with you guys. We wanted to run Be the Buyer. So you guys can all be buyers today and experience what it's like. And then afterwards, you can be so excited and go home and go to our website and vote on more product. So Be the Buyer, I wanted to walk you guys through what it actually looks like. So this is the Be the Buyer page. So we present you with images of the product. We show you the price of what we would probably sell it for, which is subject to change. And then you can pick it or skip it. So basically, do I like it or do I not like it? And we cycle through products, around like 10 a day of different products that come through. And then what happens is that based on if it gets picked, you picked it. So then we start selling it online. So that's kind of the Be the Buyer program. So Evan's going to run the game for us.
So we need you to arrange yourselves into 10 groups. So the tables didn't quite line up properly. So what we'll do is on this side of the room, these double tables, every row is going to be a team. You're not evenly matched people-wise, but that's okay. It'll all come out in the wash. And then on this side of the room, the back three are one team, and the front three, and there's no one at the first one, will be another team. Has everyone got that? Does that make sense? So you guys, every row is a team, and the back three are a team, and the front three are a team. Good? Okay. Okay. So imagine you're at Fashion Week, and imagine you're about to see a presentation by a fantastic new designer who's come up with you and says, okay, I have dresses, I have some accessories, and I have some apartment items to sell on the website. But as ModCloth, we can't sell them all. We can only sell some of them. We can only buy 2 from each category. So the way this is going to work is we're about to present you with some products. Some of these will actually be the buyer items on our site. Some of these were products we selected, and some of these are products that don't even exist yet. You get a preview. So what you're going to do, on the top of your sheet, write the names of the folks in your group so we can find you again later, because there are prizes. And what happens is when you see a group of products, The first, you need to choose 3 products that you want as a consumer. So, hey, I think this is cool. Hey, I think I would wear this. And then next thing you're going to do is choose 2 products that you should buy. And the way the game is going to work is at the end of this round, we're going to collect the sheets, add them up, and the group that can guess the trends in the room the best will win. So your influence affects the entire room. So you not only have to guess what you think the folks near you would want, you have to guess what everybody would want. And that's the hard part about doing this in real, because we think we know what's cool, but we're never as sure as our consumers. So you guys know the best of what's actually cool. And that's how we do the Be the Buyer program, to help us with our decisions, and like Alan said, make sure that we provide you with the coolest thing possible. So you guys ready? Everyone? Maybe? All right. Yeah, so get closer. Everyone get close. All right, here we go. So first we'll start with dresses. Dresses are ModCloth's staple product. We are best known for our unique and cool dresses. So you'll see we have 6 dresses. So on your sheets, write down 3 that you want and 2 you think you would buy. And we'll leave it up for about a minute. All right, guys, about 30 seconds left. All right, so you can keep discussing amongst yourselves, but we'll move on to the next round. So that was dresses. The next category we're going to move into is accessories. So in this round of accessories, we have a Star Trek wallet, handbags, earrings, a belt, a necklace, and a hat. Now the hard part about accessories is they're not necessarily... I'm sorry, is this better? Excellent. So in this round of accessories, we have a Star Trek wallet, a handbag, earrings, belt, necklace, and hat. So the same rules apply. Pick 3 products that you think you might want and 2 you think we should sell on our website. About 30 seconds left. All right, that was the accessories category. And now our final Be the Buyer category, apartment items. So this is my personal favorite category. Item number 1, a bear head bottle opener. Item number 2, a bird bottle holder. Item 3 is both salt and pepper shakers. Item 4 is actually a lamp, so that you put the light bulb at the top there, above the birds. Item 5 is a math nerd clock. I don't know if you can read the numbers, but 6 times 2 is the top. There's square roots of 4 for 2. And then item number 6 is a bento box lunch pail. And again, pick 3 items that you would like to own and 2 you think we should sell on the site.
Scary. 30 seconds left. All right. Now I have to remind everyone one last time to make sure that your names are on the paper, or else we can't find you and give you prizes. So again, everyone's names are on your paper? All right. So we're going to go around and collect the votes. And in the meantime, we're going to show you another quick video. And this one, we have our products, we have mod models, and we go on themed fashion shoots a lot of the times to help show off outfits and cool events. So we're still counting up the votes, but we're going to start our second game. So the other type of thing we mentioned before was the Be the program. So you just participated in Be the Buyer. And now we're going to try what we call Name It and Win It, or Be the Writer. So we've had a few of these contests before on our website. And the way it works is we ask our fans, again, to contribute either a name or a description, or both, to our products to help explain it, to help sell it, to think how they would use the product in the world. So a few products we've actually done this with for real so far. You'll see the Forget Me Dot Frock, to be very careful when I say that, Lacy Breaky Heart, and a Coral Line. So these we did this summer, asking, of course, for summer-themed, nautical-themed contributions. And we've also asked in the past for descriptions. So this one has been written by our fans. And you'll see people write a very just cool story to go with the dress, kind of to help you think of what you might do with it, how they were inspired by it. So for this game, it'd be too easy if we just let you come up with a name or a description for a product. So the way this game is going to work, and especially how the writing team works here at ModCloth, there's often a theme that we have to attribute to a dress. So maybe it's seasonal, maybe it's summer, winter, maybe it's about a type of event that's going on, like maybe it's about a game or a sport that might be happening. So the way this is going to work, in the same teams, we're going to give you a noun and a verb that you must use. So the noun must be used in your product name, and your verb must be used in your product description. You may have noticed that there are products on easels around the room, and if you can't see them, I'll go through them all very fast on screen. And what's going to happen is there's going to be two groups competing to name a product and describe it.
You'll have 3 minutes to come up with your name and description, and then you'll have to present it to the group. You'll have 30 seconds to tell the story and get us to sell us really on your product. And again, our fans are the best judge of what's cool or not. So then everyone in the room will have to decide which of these best exemplifies the product. And again, there are prizes. So, mystery dress number 1, mystery dress number 2, mystery dress number 3, mystery dress number 4, and mystery dress number 5. So it's going to be your... and mystery dress number 6. It's going to be your guys' job to help us describe and name these products. So we're going to bring the easels to you, and you'll be competing in groups. So row 1 versus row 2, row 3 versus row 4, row 5 versus row 6, the back row against the back row over there, and then the first half over here and the first half over here in the same groups you were in before. So we'll bring the dresses out to you, and then we'll, in our lovely hats, you'll choose your noun and your verb at random, and we'll see how this goes.
Are you putting up on screen? Oh, you're going to have to raise the mic like a great deal for here. But. All right. Good evening, everyone. Our verb and noun for the day is fashion and shine. So I present to you this spring fashion fling. You can't have flowers without sunshine, and this dress will have you shining through spring, summer, and even fall. Blossoms of color are scattered over a full skirt, and a sweet bow completes the look. We hope you enjoy it.
Team number 2. So they're going to be describing the same dress.
Well, we had summer and read, which was tough. But it's funny because they came up with spring, which is perfect in a segue into ours. So our name was Summer Bloom, and Jason's going to read the description.
And for our description of our lovely dress, imagine yourself in this, reading under the shade of a magnolia tree in full summer bloom, dress and the season, one and the same.
All right, so now we're doing a cheer. So I'm gonna say team 1, and then you cheer if you like team 1, and I'm gonna say team 2, and then you cheer if you like team 2, and Evan will tell us who's the winner. All right? You can absolutely cheer for your own team. All right, ready? Team 1. Team 2. Evan? Oh, team 2. Yay. All right, team 3.
All right, so the noun that we got was winter, and the verb that we had was love. So the name we've come up for the dress is spring after the long winter, and we'll have a description. Tell you it out.
Okay, so this dress is perfect for a spring garden party. You would love the tiny bow and the perfectly shaped pleated bustier, matched with the opaque forest green tights and opera pumps.
Thank you.
All right, team 4.
Hi, I'm Cassie. So our verb was rest, and our noun was wardrobe. We named the dress Nantucket Nights. After you rest all day on the Cape, slip into this upscale floral pattern to go places with your Gatsby crowd.
All right, so I'll announce team 3 and then team 4. Ready? Team 3. Team 4. All right, so let's have team 5 and 6 come up at the same time.
All right. So our noun was boy, and our verb was eat. Yes, quite the combination. But we'll tell a little bit of a story about what we were thinking when we saw this. But our name is Come and Get It Boys. All right. And we didn't really write down any very description, but we did think out loud about a story. And what we were thinking about was, our friend, his mother next door was attractive. We had a crush on her, and she was very wholesome, but, kind of alluring. And she bakes you a pie or a cake, and she comes to, the door or the window and lets it cool. And so, come and get it, boys. Eat your heart out was how we kind of ended our story. So let's eat your heart out.
All right, that's a tough act to follow. Okay, our noun was page, and our verb was cook, and we decided to call our dress Turn the Page. Tired of being the same person every day? Turn the page and spice it up. Cook up a new look in this fun ensemble. This sweetheart cut halter dress is sure to bring heat to the kitchen.
All right, so ready? Team 5? And team 6? Team 6 it is. All right, team 7? Does team 7 have a competitor?
That would be this guy.
Oh, okay, yeah. Why don't you guys come up?
Okay, so our verb was enjoy, and our noun was spring. So, put on this dress and enjoy the trip of life in a whole new way. When your friends ask you why you're so happy, tell them it's the dress. I am humbled to present to you Springtime High.
All right, so our noun was fall and our verb was run. And so what we were inspired by first of all, the blue colors, the vivid blue colors, but also the flowing nature of the collar. So we called this falling water frockalicious. And so just imagine yourself wearing this dress around town as you run, you complete errands, you meet friends, and you're free and flowing just like the Monongahela River.
So I totally lost track of the team, so I'll just say the first team and second team, all right? So first team. And the second team. Second team it is. All right, next two teams from the back forward. Oh, I guess it's the last two teams? Last two teams.
So our noun was pug and our verb was imagine. So we named this dress Curvy the Love Pug. Walking your dog doesn't have to be a chore. It's just another excuse to get dressed up. Throw on this frilly yellow frock and use that pooper scooper with style. And now, imagine.
Okay, so we named this Mr. Write Me a Poem. Roses are red, violets are blue, yellow is the poem waiting to be written for you. Don this Baroque-inspired party dress at any gathering. Stop searching for your Mr. Right and just relax with this cute, flirty ensemble.
watch the power of the pen work in your favor.
All right, so the first team. And the second team. All right, so next we're going to announce the winners from the other game that we played, Be the Buyer. So I'm going to show you guys the images and then tell you which items were picked. So from the dresses, the items that were picked were dress number 2, dress number 3, and dress number 5. From the accessories, it's number 3, the earrings, number 5, the necklace, and number 6, the hat. No Star Trek wallet, man. Yeah, I know. And from the apartment items, it's the Dachshund salt and pepper shakers, the lamp, and the clock, of course. So the winning teams. The winning teams come up. So when I announce your names, you guys can come up and claim your prizes. So there's a tie. So there's 2 winning teams. It's Joe, Woody, Venki, Prakash, and Ty. And the other winning team, which wrote all their last names, is Danka, Erica, Lauren, Ruthie, Stephanie, Rich, Lori, Sukada, Emily, and Joe. So once these guys clear out, then we'll let the winning teams from the Be the Writer also come and get prizes. So how about at this point, if you guys have any... So we can use this opportunity to maybe take some questions. If you guys have any questions, and we can redirect them to any of the people that are here. But are there any questions? Our products, so the question is, where are the products manufactured? So we both have domestic and import products. We don't actually, because we have so many vendors, we order from over 2,000 different vendors. So actually, the products come in from all over the place, some Europe, some Asia, but we also, because we order so much from LA, there's actually a lot of domestic vendors there. So we definitely encourage that for sustainability. I'm sorry? Yes, yeah, the actual manufacturing happens in Los Angeles for a lot of the products. There's a really neat market there in LA called San Pedro Mart, where is all wholesale buying, and a lot of the manufacturing happens right outside of that market. Next question? It's interesting, actually. I think about this a lot, and it's really hard to identify our competitors. Kristen, trying to talk here? It's actually very difficult to nail down our competitors because not a lot of people have this crowdsourcing model. Probably the most popular is Threadless, but that's t-shirts and not really in the dresses category. If you had to say by style, some of our main competitors are probably Lulu's and Urban Outfitters. But there's distinct differences in the way that we run our businesses. But it's a great question, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of copycats. Also, it's really in the last 2 years that our growth has taken off. So we're definitely attracting more attention, especially with all the press.
How do you handle the merchandise that you aren't able to sell? It hasn't met your qualifications. What do you do with that?
So some of it we send back to the vendor if there's quality defects in the actual.
Forget the defects. It just wasn't a good selling item.
Yeah, so we very rarely run sales. So we're not a sale organization. We've definitely trained people behind the fact that there's a limited number of products, so there's a scarcity model. So when we put up an item, sometimes it sells out even in a few hours because people know that if it's good and you want it, you get it now. We run sales probably twice a year, and a lot of our products sell out very quickly. Our sale in the first, people said that they added items to their cart, and by the time they got to checkout, they obviously weren't able to check out because they had so many items that were already out of inventory. So we do have those 2 sales, but then also we have damages sales, which is just, not really necessarily damage, but it's all employee purchases. So as employees, we get to go in and take that. And then the remaining product actually goes to donation.
As you continue to grow rapidly, are you concerned at all that you could lose some of your culture?
Absolutely. I mean, that's a big concern of ours. And we're fiercely fighting to retain our culture. In our San Francisco office, there's some weeks where over 10% of the office is starting in one day. And, that's kind of happened iteratively, right? Because depending on the number of people we have. So it's very difficult actually to retain our culture. So we have, documentation, we have, continual training actually around our culture so that we can continue to propagate that. But it is challenging. I mean, we're definitely going through a lot of growth pains with 2 offices opening this year. I think at the beginning of this year, we were about 130 employees. And, now we're not even end of year and we've already onboarded 70. So it's challenging.
Do you provide any assistance, like financial or otherwise mentoring assistance to these producers, like designers or small-time manufacturers?
Do we provide them assistance? Sorry, I haven't been repeating the question. That's really bad of me. So the question is do we provide assistance to our manufacturers? A lot of the manufacturers, because they're very small shops, some of them can't even produce without us paying up front. So a lot of them actually require us to pay up front, which is very untraditional in the retail, in apparel industry. But that's one of the things that we have to do because we go after so many small, like indie designers.
What price range is your merchandise?
It varies. It's incredibly broad. I'll talk about our main category, which is our dresses. They range anywhere from $30 to several hundred, $500.
Yeah, there's only actually a very few amount on the site that are above $200. The majority of the dresses are within the 100 and below range. For instance, both of these dresses, the dress I have on, all under $100. And that's a price point that we've tried really hard to keep around to make it affordable.
Have you ever considered brick and mortar stores?
So the question is brick and mortar, if that's something that we've considered. It's not really a strategy of ours. A lot of what we do is bringing that boutique experience online, and we don't really want to compete with the boutiques because the boutiques are, it's a precious opportunity for people to still go and vintage shop or boutique shop. So it's not really a market that we're looking to compete in, and it hasn't really been a strategy for us.
A men's line.
So that is a great question. Do we have a men's line? So if you notice, if you go to our site, we actually have a men's category that's just started this year, but it's really only in the context of gifting. A lot of our company is just, we're dealing with such rapid growth. It's all about what we can sustain with that rapid growth. The only thing that's holding back a men's line is a men's buyer. So we've got, you want to volunteer? So we have, Susan, who's really the visionary behind ModCloth and the women's fashion. We don't have that on the men's side yet, and that's really what we're looking for.
What's your demographic?
Demographic is really difficult to nail down. A lot of traditional apparel, you create your profile, right? And that's your profile that that you carry through. And it's funny. When I worked at American Eagle, it really weirded me out because the profiles were Katie and Brandon, and then they've got these pictures in the office of all these pictures of all these women, and they're like, that's Katie. I'm like, what? There's 20 people up there, but it's all trying to capture that persona, right? ModCloth, we don't have that because we cover such a broad spectrum of style, from everything from emo to retro to indie to vintage. So all those things are really difficult to capture. I mean, our buying range is anywhere between I would say 15 to 35, but that's really not, that's such a broad spectrum of women, and so it is difficult for us to profile, but we intentionally don't profile because that would actually limit the type of products that we buy.
What's the average size of an order for a dress? You would say, how many pieces would you stock?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what's our average order buy? I would say, there's obviously a huge variance, but in the beginning of the year, our average buys would be 70 pieces per unit, per product. And then, right now going into holiday, we're trending anywhere around 300, 400. Be the buyer is even more because it's already been voted in. So those be the buyer items can be anywhere from 500, 600. It's interesting because we want to always retain that scarcity model, but how do you retain a scarcity model when you're trying to buy to demand, and demand is always increasing? So it is a challenging, it's a challenging framework that we're still navigating. We have some pretty advanced statistical models that we use to try to predict our buys, and so we're trying to solve it in different ways. But yeah, it's a great question.
Which items sold the best? I
So you probably need to ask someone who's closer to our demographic than I am.
So I don't know what specific item was, but typically it's dresses. So ModCloth is very well known for their dresses, and you'll find that they sell out very quickly, even when we get really big amounts of them. But lately, shoes and accessories are not far behind, and apartment wares have been selling like crazy. So I think as we continue to expand and appeal to a larger audience, that's kind of becoming the case across the board.
There's one jacket, our Twilight jacket.
The Twilight jacket, yeah, the Bella jacket.
So yeah, it looks like the jacket that Bella wears in Twilight is extremely popular, and it's actually a product that we've stocked for over a year, right?
Yeah, it's interesting because we have a few of these like ModCloth, like iconic pieces. There's a couple dresses that have been on the site since we started really carrying like bulk indie product that we continue to get back in, that continue to sell out all the time. The earrings that were up there on accessory, those the gold lily earrings, they've been restocked several times. That bottle opener we sell out of actually. So there are like these favorite items that definitely have kind of become part of the ModCloth brand.
Other questions?
Do you have people that are employed by ModCloth that are elsewhere in the country and the world scoping out the scene and trying to figure out what's up?
So what we have is our buying team. They're not necessarily spread out, but they're based in both LA and Pittsburgh and San Francisco. So between our 3 offices, we have different buyers. What they do is they scour different vendors who send catalogs or have websites. We go to a lot of trade shows. There's some really popular areas where there's a concentration of wholesale fashion. And the LA district that I mentioned earlier is a big one where there's almost 1,000 different small mom and pop type wholesale apparel retailers that are in this tiny little market. And we'll go in, and our buyers will go in there. They may order one product. They may order 25 products from one vendor. So our buying team is a small team right now. So it's not we're not necessarily have people. The challenge is we have a certain style that we're trying to continue to go down that line. That it's actually very difficult to find people that can really hit that style on point. And so that's one of the challenges. I mean, it's not so broad in terms of the style that we're trying to buy.
So it's very American.
Yes. Yeah.
Does the New York market have any influence on your food at all?
I'm sorry?
The New York fashion market, does it have any influence on your food?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. The question is, does the New York fashion market have an influence on us? And absolutely. I mean, so to kind of tie on into the previous question, we do a lot of buying in Europe as well. So we go to Paris and we go to London and we do buying there as well. But that's not the majority of our products. But we buy out of New York. Our vendors are scattered all over the U.S. So yeah, but New York and LA are the 2 biggest influences.
Do your employees actually identify with the style? Is that something that you believe in?
Yeah, so excluding obviously Evan, Jay, and myself, a lot of our ModCloth employees are consumers, and it's really awesome. I mean, you go to the office, and I definitely, you guys are welcome to talk to Kristen about visiting the office. But it's really cool. I mean, a lot of our people, the people that work at ModCloth are consumers of the brand. So you go into the office and they themselves are so passionate and so, excited about the brand. I mean, they get a 63% discount if you work at ModCloth. So, I mean, that's significant.
A ridiculous amount of emails funneled through customer service from our customers wanting to work at ModCloth all the time. They call in, they email us. And so a lot of our people were customers before they worked there or have become very loyal followers since starting there.
Yeah.
Does Pittsburgh offer special advantages or disadvantages for operating a company like this?
Yeah, that's a great question. Pittsburgh is an interesting market because, a lot of startup companies either start here and move out or they just don't start here. If you go to Pittsburgh Tech Council, which is a big community of companies, you'll notice very few that are in the retail space. A lot of medical, a lot of industrial type organizations. So it is a challenging place to start a business. But what's unique about Pittsburgh as a market, being a smaller market than say San Francisco, is that we feel like we're the best game in town. So, so it's actually really easy to attract talent. I mean, I feel like, you know, even the team that we have up here is like some of the best and brightest, you know, people that we can get in Pittsburgh. And so it's actually easy to be awesome in Pittsburgh, and we like being awesome. So.
Do you guys have any intention of doing in-house design and producing your own like pieces to sell on your website, or are you guys wholly a vendor?
Yeah, so the question is, do we want to do our own in-house design? Absolutely not. So we definitely, our model is allowing designers, working with designers, and then the hope is actually working with customers who are designers. So, you know, Be the Designer is a program that we want to get to, where it's kind of like the mix between Etsy and, you know, large-scale retail, where we can go, designers can present to us, and then we help bring their design to market. So through voting and through even having our own connections for manufacturing, you know, we've talked about different models where we can, you know, aggregate designs and then push those out to manufacturing, you know, and shop those out to different manufacturing opportunities. So yeah, we definitely don't want to get into the business of doing our own design, because we feel like that would stifle our creativity in terms of the options that we have.
At what point do you find that an independent retailer that maybe you've been looking at is too large to carry? Like they've already established too much of a presence?
That's a really interesting question. We've never gotten to the case where I feel like we've rejected a designer. But the other challenge is that the places that we go to buy, like the really large-scale designers, have probably aren't there. So the LA market and then the trade shows that we go to, all the big designers, once you become big, you actually focus on just the people that are buying from you. So if you're big in Macy's and, you know, and you do a lot of business with Macy's, you'll probably stop going to the shows, because you know, there's no reason for you to be at this trade show trying to drum up more business, you know, when you've already, you know, tapped out your, you know, your opportunity with, you know, one of the large apparel retailers. All right. Well, thanks everyone. We'll be here to answer questions. Oh wait. Oh yeah. So if you didn't, there's another round of prizes. Oh yeah. So if you won, so at this point we'll just make it so.
So we want to give everybody some.
Everybody wins. So feel free to come up. Thanks, guys.